Hello. Yep.
How you doing? Okay, so everyone, since we're still waiting, usually it'll take a few minutes for everybody to log in, but I did go ahead and hit record. I only have a few minutes today with Miss Wendy Kramer, who is right here on our screen down there somewhere on your screen. So Wendy's a local appraiser. She's been doing this for many years here. Some of you probably have seen and worked with her in the past. And the reason I wanted to have her jump on our call is I wanted her to kind of express from an appraiser standpoint the things that we're seeing in the market and such. And I see Wendy already smiling like, oh gosh, here we go. So Wendy's gonna school all of us on how to get our properties to appraise, right, Wendy? So welcome.
Easier. Hello, everybody. And please forgive me that it's gonna be kind of a quick one. But I've got to tell you that there's a few different things if you want to understand the appraiser mindset, and I can't really speak for every appraiser. I just been doing it for about 20 years now. Some of you have met me over the years. Some of you might like me, some of you might not. So, and I've been through a couple of ups and downs with the market. So I've been through the really bad one back in between 05 and 08. And I remember my agents, telling me, but the sale price went up. I've got multiple offers. Things are going, $20,000 increase in 5 minutes. And I kept saying, but we need to have proof and we need to have a market that shows this. Your listings are beautiful and I see where things are going, but if I don't have a closed sale to bracket, I'm going to have a lender that turns around to me and says, I need something better and I need something worse. So listings are great for supporting, and it's usually what I use if I need to bump it up a little bit. If I'm making a difference between 600,000 and 610 and all of the new listings are 620, I have no problem going higher because that's showing where the market is. But if you are, and I'm seeing this a lot now, I'm not really sure why you're all doing this, but it's making it very difficult as an appraiser. If you're listing a house for 650 and you're expecting 700, and then you expect the appraiser to be able to explain this, and all the other listings and contracts are showing 650, and they haven't changed it once it went into contract or pending to what your pending and contract price is, I'm showing a market of 650, not 700. And it's making it very difficult for me to explain it to a lender of where things are going. Once the sale closes and I have something that's showing at 700,000, then I can say, okay, if it's comparable to my subject, then I could see where my results are and I can see where my supporting comparables are. But this is a very, I would say that 75% of my jobs that I'm doing now are $20,000. The list price is $20,000 less than what the actual contract price is. And I understand it's multiple offers, but if the market closed sales are still showing $10,000 increase and not the $20,000, you need to understand that appraiser cannot, after adjustments, say that, oh, okay, all my comparable sales after adjustments are adjusting to 650 and I'm going to give it 660. I mean, there's no supporting that except for the listings. And as we all know, listings can drop the day before your escrow closes. So a lender will not buy that. You'll find an appraiser that will do things like that, and then it'll come to me for review, and I won't have that kind of support. We are not against you. We are not, we don't take any of this personally. It's all of the facts, and it's all what's out there. And that's why I usually turn around to my agents, my listing agents, and say, let me see your comps of where you pulled. So if you're bringing me comps that are showing that they've closed, and lenders want the closed sales 90 days from contract, so I don't have to make a time adjustment for what has been closed. That's what they want to see now. And now, because things are closing between 1 and 30 days, If I have to go over 90 days or even, over 45 days, I'm explaining it that I'm using that sale only for bracketing purposes. So I usually do 4 closed sales and 2 listings to support where my market is. Every once in a while, I'm still getting a little, the area is showing as declining because 6 to 9 months ago, there was all new construction in there. The sale prices were high. The builder was giving concessions. The market was really high. And then all of a sudden right now, everything went back to normal. And these are things that I have to explain to the lender. So that is very important. And that's what the things that I want you to understand. I do have to, I've got you all here and I've got to beg you. When you do your, if you're all listing agents, or even if you're the buyer's agent and you see the MLS, when you tell me there's a 2-car garage and there's a 4-car garage, you are messing up my comms. So anything that you can tell me that is really truly there, like if it's just, the driveway is just 2, but it is a tandem, save 4, because I'm looking at these things. If they ended up having, if the square footage in public record is 3,200 square feet and you're telling me it's 3,500 square feet, I'm assuming that one of those garages build out, they had that option of making it a 2-car garage instead of the 3 tandem. I have to go sometimes back into public record, look through all the pictures, look at previous MLSs, and sometimes I've got 5 MLSs telling me 5 different things. As an agent, especially a listing agent, you're in the house. Please, if you can write exactly what's in the house. Same thing as bathrooms. Bedrooms I don't worry about as much. Only if there's functional, do I make an adjustment on that? But bathrooms, if it's 2.5, it's 2.1. If I see 2.1.1, I'm thinking there's 2 full baths and there's 2 half baths. I'm not sure how the MLS, I've kind of discussed this over the years with the powers that be of how it's written, but the difference between a 3 bath, a 4 bath, a 3.5 bath, we have to be accurate, because as soon as we're not accurate and somebody else goes to look at it and they see something different, then I got to go back in and go, I've looked at the pictures, I've been in the house before, I know what that house looks like, it's got 3 full baths. And here my review appraiser saying, oh no, it only has 2.5 because the agent put it on the MLS that it only has 2.5. It's so much easier when you confirm, explain. Same thing with solar. Please say that it is paid in full 100%. We cannot give it value if it's just leased, but we love to give it value when it's 100%. Tell us how many panels. Sometimes we can see on top and then we can adjust accordingly. But I know I'm throwing so much at you, but it's like I just want to give it all to you of the things that have been just making my job harder recently.
So Wendy, I have a quick question. So as real estate agents, we still have people jumping on the call. Wendy Kramer is a local appraiser that we are fortunate to have on the call today. She's limited on time. So I wanted to ask one quick question. As real estate agents, and you're the appraiser, what's the best situation for us as realtors to approach you? If we're the listing agent, do we meet you at the property? Do you like it when agents show up with comps? Is that something that you say, oh, great, here comes another realtor with comps? What do you suggest is the best way to get this information to you as the appraiser?
So a lot of times, my agents will email me the comps. I have no problem getting comps from you because that's my due diligence. You are not swaying me because the numbers don't lie. And I look at every single picture in all of my comparables and comps that I don't use either. So you're not swaying me, but you are helping me do my due diligence. A lot of times there's a sale out there, now that Redfin and all these other companies, and they're not putting them on the MLS. And then every once in a while we have a for sale by owner. And if you know anything about that house, give it to me. Tell me about it. Because, like I said, you're not swaying me when it comes to the value. You are just giving me more information. And it's my job to have know every single thing that's going on in that area. So, and especially, and I got to tell you, if I turn around to you and say, hey, do you have comps? You know there's a problem, okay? If I'm asking you, usually I ask all of you for comps anyway, because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
Okay.
So please, if the house is vacant, I have no problem going myself. I have no problem you meeting me there. I have no problem homeowners there. I wear a mask, I wear gloves. I would prefer your homeowners to be wearing masks also, or even to step out of the house. I do check the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors. I check the hot water if it's double strapped. I turn on the water. I take a picture of their sink on. I take a picture of their gas on their stove. I take a picture of their electric on. Those are the things, and we're talking conventional right now. I'm not talking FHA. These are the things that I'm required. I'm required to take a picture in every single room. Front, back of the house. I would prefer if there's a pool, if the pool was on, so I can see that that's functioning. Any upgrades, I always tell my homeowners, after you get off the phone with me, if you have something else you want to tell me or give me dollar amounts of every upgrade that you have, I want that too. Because I go by what the construction and information that I have, either my own personal experience with all my with my lenders, with my homeowners, or what's online. But if you have a homeowner that just put $30,000 in synthetic turf in, I want to know that. They're not going to get dollar for dollar on it, but I would prefer it. So if you want to give me a list of every single thing that they've done, and preferably when they did it, because the way that an appraisal is set up on page 1 is, has it been less than a year? Is it 1 to 5 years? Is it 6 to 10 years? So that gives me a good idea of the effective age of the house. So if they just redid the whole entire house, the plumbing and everything, their effective age is going to be less than, if it was 20 years old as an actual age. So the more information you give me, the better I can be as an appraiser. So anybody have questions? I know like I said, I'm spewing things out to you guys. I know I'm doing a meeting next month.
We got the early meeting. We got you in early, so thank you for joining us. I did have another question. So based on, most of us as realtors right now, when we're listing properties, we're seeing all of these multiple offers, and I know you're catching wind of this as well. Can you explain to the realtors, how much weight do you give an appraisal based on the information that there's a super, super high demand and low inventory? How much of that is weighted into the appraised value?
It's supporting the value, and it's making, as I said in my first statement, it is my decision of whether I'm going up or down. Okay. Because I very rarely do I come up with the exact purchase price. I would say a lot of times if I'm above, it's based on the comps. If I'm below, it's based on the comps. So the weight of my listings either pushes it to, because I always round my numbers. You'll never see me go 438, 735. It just won't. I'll go 440 or something like that. But if my listings as supporting are only doing 448, then I'm going to do 448. If my listings are 450, 455, then I'm going to bump it up to 450. It's just, I'm not perfect. I can't give you like the exact dollar amount, and I won't give a purchase price if the house is worth more than the purchase price. So as far as the weight of the listings, it is a support. But if my comps, my closed comps do not, if I cannot find anything, if I'm in an area and all my comps are less than 600,000, it is going to be very hard for me to do 610. The only way that I can figure that out is I usually find a home that is larger in square footage, or has more upgrades or a pool or anything. And then I'll explain to the lender the only reason why I'm using this house that's so much larger is because of bracketing purposes, and it's because of their requirements. So your lenders do not want to see straight line adjustments. So if you look at an appraisal, you're going to see, you know, here's our 20 line item. Remember, we don't, your price per square foot, we are not priced per square footage. We have 20 different items that we are splitting up, and sometimes even more. So the lender expects every single one of those line items to not have a straight line adjustment. So we have to find something better and worse, and that's where your listings will come in. Knowing that there's multiple listings, knowing that people think, you know, okay, I'll bid, you know, sometimes I see in the contract, it's going to be $2,000 more than the highest price that has been offered. However, it will not go over this if it does not appraise. I mean, it's just, you know, your verbiage is really cool because I've learned how to read it, but it's also, one, it's a contract that can fall out. That's why I tell, you know, I'll look at people and I'll go, why didn't you take the cash deal when it's $20,000? I mean, that's a surefire thing. Well, because the other one was $25,000 more and they think they can get the loan on it. But if I can't find the value, then they're paying their $5,000 difference. Your other thing is concessions. Okay, I hate concessions. Please don't use them. You know, the $5,000 towards closing costs when your purchase price would have been $600, and now you're doing $605 with a $5,000 closing cost. And I was able to find that $600, but boy, I can't find that $605. That makes it really hard. And I know it's a luxury. It's kind of cool, you know, that the homeowner is, the seller is, you know, helping with closing costs, because that's something different than the loan. But closing costs mess up appraisals. And I've seen it, you know, before. It puts it over that $10,000 VA, especially with VA. And I can't talk about, you know, 4 VA appraisers, but I see when I use those as comps, that's lowering that price $10,000 because that's, you know, an asset. Or if you are lowering your fees or anything as agent fees, you know, I love it when you put it in there. I love it when you separate your repairs from your concessions. You know, if it's a whole lump sum, you're going to get a phone call from me. Okay, how much went to concessions? How much went to warranty? How much went to this? Go ahead. Any questions? Oh, one more thing. If any of you are in Temecula and you are doing Paseo, Red Hawk is not a comp. Okay. If you are doing the golf course off of Winchester, Bear Creek is not a comp. I'm just letting you know.
So Red Hawk, that's funny you say that. So, I mean, yeah, I get the Bear Creek, but Red Hawk, I mean, it is close enough. Why couldn't you wouldn't establish that as a comp?
If I'm in Paseo, Red Hawk is a different school district. Red Hawk is on the other side of 79, and Paseo has so many sales. I mean, if I didn't have any sales, that might be one thing.
Sure.
But I just did one that, I mean, you know, there's like Paseo, and I'll do, you know, I'll spread it out to Crown Hill and Paloma, and if I have to do Vintage Hills or something. But I'm not going across 79. There are so many homes around here. You know, if there was nothing, then I would spread my search and explain it. Everything has to be explained. If I can explain it, then I don't mind giving information to the lender or expanding. The street in Morgan Hill, it's very hard to do some homes in Red Hawk. And then we've got Frog's Leap in Morgan Hill, which are over $1 million. I mean, it's just, those couple of streets in Morgan Hill are just not comparable to certain other areas that, you get it. I know you guys get it.
Right. And so one of the questions that I was going to bring up is maybe just, you know, we know what we're faced with when we're dealing with appraisers as real estate agents. Typically, obviously, the lender orders the appraisal, it gets ordered. We have no control, say, or anything. We can't control whether or not the appraiser is coming in from out of area and doesn't know everything that you just mentioned, which is brilliant because Wendy's a local appraiser, has been doing this for 20 plus some odd years. You know what we should know, which is the school districts and what have you. What do we do when we're faced with that out of area appraiser that we just know does not, well, I'm not going to say it does not understand, but just does maybe not as good of a job as somebody that's local? What do you recommend in that case?
Well, the first thing is they're not supposed to be hired. They're supposed to have competency for that area. So they shouldn't have taken that job in the first place. But the only way that you learn competency is if you call up local realtors and say, hey, can you give me your boundaries or anything like that? Or, oh, what are there gated communities? Because you get an agent for an appraiser from outside the area. They go into Red Hawk not realizing there's gated communities over there. And then they try to, comp a gated community to a non-gated community, and then that brings the value down, and they already were, drove an hour out here and they're not coming back for pictures. So then they start playing that game. So as an agent, I would just, feel free to turn around to the appraiser and go, hey, you from the area? Do you want me to give you some boundaries and stuff? I've heard it. I've heard that appraisers rip up your comps. I've heard appraisers turn around and say, don't tell me, I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But it's our responsibility and our competency to know the boundaries. And if starting 20 years ago, I did all my work. I lived here and I went to LA and San Bernardino, up in the mountains and everything. And the way to get competent is to talk to my agents. Mm-hmm. And because you guys know the areas. So it's really important. If you see it, if it's an outside appraiser that you're not familiar with, or even, just turn around and go, hey, are you familiar with the area and stuff in the boundaries and stuff like that? That's really important. And if you say it kind of in a nice way, just like the way we try to be respectful to you guys, I know some of them, some take it a little bit personal, but I would prefer you to turn around to me, and then I can turn around and say, I know that, just like what I just said to you was, like, don't go across 79. I would prefer that you educate the appraisers, mm-hmm. so that we have a good reputation of, hey, we listened, you're not swaying me, I'm listening. That's my job, is to be educated about everything before I come up with the opinion of market value.
Right, and safe to say that there's also a lot of lenders that are from out of state, out of area, and sometimes they order an appraiser that might not know the area. So it's just safe to say that it's okay to reach out and just kind of in a nice way, I guess, explain or ask if they're familiar with the location. And as you mentioned before, it's okay for us to send out our comps to the appraiser to just show them what we came up with.
I would turn around and ask them. A lot of times when I go, if the house is vacant, they've left me the comps, they'll say, oh, are you okay with me leaving the comps? I go, absolutely. And actually, I would prefer you emailing it to me before I go, because I like to look. Anytime I have an agent that wants to give me comps, I don't look at their comps until I do mine. And then it's really cool because I do mine. Then I look at theirs and I go, oh, got that. And then if the agent is right there, a lot of times I'll turn around and go, I got everything that you gave me. You gave me one more extra thing. Or sometimes I'll turn around and go, hey, your house is 600,000, and you gave me comps, but you didn't give me the comp next door that's 530. So can you tell me why that house sold for 530? Because if I spotted it, the reviewer's going to spot it, the lender's going to spot it, everybody's going to see it. And if I'm disregarding it, I would rather at least know why I'm disregarding it. And so, don't, just because you see it, and just because you don't like that comp, don't disregard it with the appraiser. I have agents that they'll send me comps and they put a notes on everything of why this one was low and why this one was high. And I really appreciate it, because I'm looking at the pictures anyway, and all they're doing is saying, I talked to this agent, and I'll call the agents because I annoy you guys all the time. But they've they're understanding. They're turning around to me and going, yeah, that house sold for 70,000 less, but it has no upgrades in it. It has a crack in the concrete. The pool is falling apart. Give me the information. And aside from being a listing agent, then I'll get in touch with the buyer's agent and go, you made this offer. Is there something you want? You obviously made an offer thinking that this was going to appraise. Like, where did you get, what do you have?
Mhm.
So usually I have everything that everybody has. I mean, I just pull everything. I usually pull like 17 comps and take pictures of them, drive by the house, scare all the neighbors because I'm taking pictures of the house. But that's my job. I mean, that is my job. And I would love it if every house appraised, because then I don't have to go, oh gosh, where'd they come up with this? But it's all in the numbers. And if the numbers are just listings or even pendings or under contract, I don't know how many times I've used one that was under contract, and the day I went to go send out the report, it was put on hold.
Mhm.
Call up the agent. What happened? Well, and then there goes my perfect comp. So and now what's wonderful is Riverside County is their updates and their recordings are like up to the minute. So it's not in public record, but I have a couple of back doors that I can find. So I know it's closed. And if it's closed, I'm like, oh, thank you. I have proof now of where I'm going.
Very cool. And so, Wendy, just to wrap things up, because I know you're very short on time today, and I appreciate you jumping on the call and giving us all that information. Agents, if you're out there taking listings, make sure your comps are based on closed sales. That's the most important part. As Wendy mentioned, know the neighborhood, know the area. Don't compare the house that's in Menifee to the house that you're listing in Temecula. If you have an issue with price or you're pushing that value a little bit because of recent sales, make sure you meet the appraiser and go over what you found. But please don't tell the appraiser their job, right? That's Wendy's job.
Oh, you could
I'm
tell me
sure
my
that
job.
nobody likes to be told, this is why it appraises for X. Wendy does a lot of work. She goes on Zillow and gets the Zestimate when she does. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She doesn't do that. She does a real
ridiculous.
appraisal. But but the reality is we have to look at the true value of the property, look at closed comps. Listed homes, just listed homes, great idea of what's kind of trending in the marketplace, I would say, but it's not a true comp because, I always tell all the agents, the neighbor can list their house for $2 million. It doesn't mean my house is worth $2 million, right? It's whatever somebody's willing to pay in that day and age. And then one last thing, somebody mentioned they did have an appraiser from San Diego come in, and the value came in lower. So I don't know the difference or anything. It's just in our chat box. But I would suggest, there's always such a thing as rebuttaling the appraisal, getting with the lender, getting with the appraiser and saying, hey, here's the comps that I came up with. Can you please explain the difference? If it's 50 or 100 grand, I don't know. I guess we're way off, but they didn't give me a value. Does anybody have any questions for Wendy before we let her go? Great opportunity. She is a local appraiser for those of you that are jumping on the call just last minute. Anyone?
Felipe, I don't have a question, but I just want to thank Wendy for doing this. I haven't seen you or talked to you in a while, Wendy, but thank you so much. You guys, she's great. If you need to use her for personal appraisals or anything like that, or trust or anything like that, she's the go-to person.
Thank you. And every once in a while, I do have agents that call me and ask me questions. I don't mind doing that. I am currently in my master's program, so I'm doing things, and I do counseling, and I'm doing things 24/7. So if I don't answer you right away, or usually I try to answer you while I'm on the road going to like one job or another. So as far as the rebuttals, I just saw the question. So they will not, values are not what you're going to question. So your questions are going to be, I have a comp. It's not, why didn't you use this comp? It's, hey, I have a comp. Did you have a chance to look at this? Just remember one thing. If you don't look at that comp completely, and I say, oh yeah, I'll take it, but it's going to knock your value down $10,000 because you forgot that it's got owned solar it has a pool, it's got all these upgrades, and it has concessions. So before you give us your these things to review, please make sure that you've gone through them. I have no problem when a lender says to me, hey, Wendy, can you take a look at these things? You know, oh, yeah, but these are all brand new. And I got in touch with the builder, and the builder gave $20,000 concessions to all of that. So if you want me to use it, it's going to bump your value down another 10,000. So be careful what you ask for. The other thing is when you're doing your comps, it's okay to go over a mile. I know a lot of agents, either they just put in that mile or they put in a dollar amount. Don't do that, because there's a lot of areas that are over a mile that you know it's within, like if you look at Canyon Lake, I mean, those are over a mile. So just, you know, when you're drawing your map on the MLS or anything, just, you know, draw your map. So I just have, it's my job to explain to the lender why I've gone over a mile, but if it's in the neighborhood marketing area, then that makes sense. So just, you know, don't feel confined to that mile thing, but feel confined to the neighborhood marketing area, and keep your as far as your homeowners association, when you're giving that information, when you're listing it in the MLS, it would be great if you had the updated HOA or the management company, because it's our responsibility to call if they're in litigation or anything like that, and the dues. I don't know how many times I see the dues. There's like 4, you know, I'll go through everybody in the community, and there's 4 or 5 different dues. And I call up the management company, and the management company goes, no, they're all 100. And I'm going, well, this one said 101, and this one said 105, and this. So consistency is just like, if everybody got together, I don't know, it just made it easier for us so that we don't get the reports back saying, hey, you know, you did it wrong. Well, we've got the information from our agents. So that's all.
Awesome information. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thanks for taking the call and taking your time. She's going to be doing another session for, I believe, a title company or somebody reached out to her. So we got it first. All right. So way to go, everybody.
You guys
Wendy,
got it first.
and thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day. Okay.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Make a lot of money.
Thank you, Wendy. Bye-bye.
Okay.
So, okay, everybody else, we're back. So I do see a couple new faces on the call. I just wanted to quickly say welcome to the family and the team. Some of you are being shy, but I do see Philip. So for those of you that haven't met Philip, he's on my screen down there somewhere. Philip's new to our office and our family, so he's on board. We're really excited to have him. And then Aaron Dixon is, I believe, just signed up yesterday. Hey, Aaron. How you doing? So welcome to the team. We're very excited to have you on board. I look forward to meeting you. I haven't actually met you person to person yet. We've only Zoomed, right? A couple times. So really excited to have you on board. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody else. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out and a welcome to the team. As you guys know, Patty Safe there, First American Title. She's right here with me. So I wanted to give her a couple minutes to give us some latest and greatest updates if you have anything for us.
I do.
And please ask questions, you guys. Pick her brain, because then Sean and I are going to discuss a couple things with the market. So please feel free to ask her some questions, but welcome, Patty.
Hello, guys. So glad to see all of you. I love to see your faces. I wish the people that I don't see the faces would put their faces on there.
I know, me too, me too.
I like to see you. But anyhow, hey, real quickly, as Wendy was speaking, I kept on thinking what Philip and I just spoke about on My First Am. If you're not already a member of My First Am, feel free to holler at me, reach out to me. I'd love to sign you up for the system. It's all free to you, but our comps are, what I want to say, is more comprehensive than what you get on MLS, because ours include any for sale by owners as well. So we get everything. You guys only get what's on the MLS. So if you're having some issues or some struggles with that, please feel free to, either ask me for them, or otherwise ask me to sign you up for My First Am, and you can pull them yourself, because you're going to get everything, which is always a good thing. So another thing I wanted to mention real quickly is we kind of been talking a little bit here and there about mobile homes and 433s. David and I just had a little conversation earlier today about 433s, and when somebody calls and asks for a 433, a permanent foundation record on a mobile home, if we can pull it, that's all I've ever really needed. And there are some lenders that are currently, their underwriters are asking for an engineering cert as well. That's not something that's normal for us. The engineering certs do not get attached to the 433 when they get recorded. The 433's information is literally taken from the engineering cert. So in that respect, we're not going to see an engineering cert. So the only thing I would suggest is that you call, anybody that does permanent foundations. The person I always refer to is Wendy out at Permabrace. She's phenomenal, been around forever and ever, and at least she could probably help you through that process if the underwriter is absolutely demanding it. So I think that would be your next best step in that respect. One last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, and if you have any questions on any of those, feel free to holler. One last thing I want to mention is probate. Obviously, and I hate to say it this way because I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but COVID has taken people's lives, and I think it's taken it to the point where it was very unexpected, and so they didn't have their ducks in a row. And so we're seeing way more probates right now. A lot of people are asking for referrals for probate attorneys and all that sort of thing. And obviously, if they're not either in a trust or they're like in a joint tenant situation or community property with right of survivorship, then they're going to end up going to probate, and especially because it does hit our elderly community, and oftentimes they're alone, so they don't have it right, and now we've got probate. Just know, you guys, that the general cost on probate is almost $30,000, right around there, give or take, and it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year. So if they have to go through probate, if you're now being called by someone that is an heir or a child of this person who passed away very suddenly, just know we've got a lot of work in front of us. So it's not going to be something that's going to be quick and easy. So you don't want to put that out onto the market and say, oh yeah, here it is, but we're going through probate, because it could take 6 months to a year and you're going to lose your buyers. So the two things that title needs from probate situation almost always is the letters of testamentary, which is basically the letters that state who can act on behalf of the estate by the courts. And also the other thing is the notice of proposed action. And a notice of proposed action is the letter that literally states, now you can go ahead and you can sell the property. This is who's acting on behalf of it, but now you can go ahead and do that. And this shows you how you're going to disperse it. So that is not only for escrow to see, but for us to see as well. So those are the two things we need most often, letters of testamentary and also the notice of proposed action. Again, if you guys have any questions on that, let me know, because it is coming around often these days. So good to see you all. I'm going to just sit here and listen.
Thank you so much, Patty. So does anybody have any questions for Tyler, since we have Patty here while I'm getting this screen prepared? And
I have a quick question.
Not included. Darn it. Okay, yes.
I just want to confirm something.
What,
I want to confirm something.
Okay.
House is in a trust. Seller has a POA. So my mom is my power of attorney, but my house is in a trust. And I cannot really make any decisions anymore. But my mom is also the trustee of the trust. So she is signing and selling as the trust, as the trustee, correct?
Correct. And most, oh, go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
But if she wasn't the trustee and Felipe was the trustee, but my mom is the power of attorney, it's Felipe who's signing all my real estate stuff as the trustee of the trust, correct?
Correct. So most often, you guys, in trusts do not have powers of attorneys for the use of them. So there has to be a specific clause within the power of attorney that states, okay.
I forgot to give you this.
Yesterday I had a situation where his wife was the power of attorney and she's the successor trustee. But the problem of it is the two original trustees, the mom and dad, the dad passed away, the mom is still living, but she's incapacitated. So almost all, I don't know of a trust that doesn't have a medical directive. The medical directives then will spell out what, who can act on her behalf. But as a power of attorney, most trusts don't call out for it. So you can't sign off changing the property entitled to yourself as a power of attorney, because you're basically benefiting yourself. Did I say that correctly? Are you guys understanding what I was saying? Basically, as a power of attorney, you can't take and transfer title into your own name. And that was one of the things they did. And the funny thing was, it wasn't just them. It was actually their attorney doing it for them. So the attorney went ahead and did that. Now we have an issue with that because basically she's benefiting. Now she can sell the property if she needs to as the successor trustee or as the administrator because now her mother's incapacitated, but not as a power of attorney. So they can't transfer that over. She can sell that property because maybe her mom's needs the money or whatever. But again, you really have to read the trust and see what they call out for. Because most of them do not call out for a power of attorney.
They won't ask for it.
Right. So, okay. So if you guys have any other questions on that, let me know because yeah, you really have to read the trust big time. And we're happy to do that for you. So if you have one that's in trust and you're questioning, feel free to, either get me together with your clients and I'd be more than happy to read over the trust and see what's going on, or I'll send it to my title unit and say, hey, you guys make this decision for us. So, okay.
So, thank you so much, Patty.
You're welcome.
Word of advice, if you're new to our company, I'm going to put Patty Sather's email in the chat box. Do me a favor, reach out to her today and just say, I am interested in sitting down with you for 5 minutes. You need to meet this woman. She's incredible. She's going to help your business and you're going to get a lot of insight. Okay, so make sure you reach out to her today. Thank you so much, Patty, for that. Any other questions, go ahead and feel free to email her for that regarding title. So we're running short on time. I wanted to talk about a couple things. One thing I wanted everybody on the call to know is Open Door. Has everybody heard of Open Door? I see a couple of these. Okay, Open Door, scary, right? So guess what? They just went public, okay? They went public yesterday. They announced this news that they're gonna go public because they're making all this money and they think that the digital age is here and people are just gonna buy and sell homes. Do I feel that we need to be concerned about this? The answer is no, okay? I'm gonna tell everybody on this call right now, Open Door is always going to be around. People like Open Door will always be available to help those that are in urgent need of selling their house right away, if that makes sense. Do I feel that we're going to turn into the new vending machine business like Carvana? Has anybody heard of Carvana? Actually, my brother, funny story, quick side note, my brother purchased a card through Carvana. They gave him a coin. He put it in there and the whole slot machine thing, like the card comes down. It's kind of cool. But do I see that the real estate industry is going to go to that? The answer is no, you guys. You don't have anything to be concerned with. People will always need somebody that can guide them, hold their hand, and walk them through the process, all right? Think about WebMD. I've said this before, I'll say it again. WebMD came out and all of a sudden everybody was panicking thinking, great, I can get all the information online. Well, guess what? You can get so much information. If you've ever had a cold and you look up your symptoms, you know what I'm talking about, right? You all of a sudden think that you have some random rare disease that you've never heard of. So I like to go on WebMD to get some ideas, but guaranteed I'm going to go to my doctor to get the final verdict if I will. That makes sense. So same thing with real estate. But because I'm saying that, that's exactly why I expect all of us to know the process. We have to know our industry inside and out. Century 21 Preferred is going to have professional real estate agents, okay? So everybody needs to be on board with that. If you don't understand the process or the contracts, you need to come talk to me right away, all right? Show it. I mean, I have so many realtors that are in our company that are willing to assist you guys. Don't ever feel left out. That's the message for today. So Sean, our lender from Gravity Mortgage, where are you at? He's down here somewhere, right? So Sean
right here, bud.
Always some great insight. I had this whole presentation I wanted to cover, but there's one thing I wanted to share, and Sean's going to cover it for me. I'm going to go right to that slide in a second. Is I think we're missing the boat when everybody has heard of interest rates being phenomenally low, right? We've all heard about the rates being super low. As a matter of fact, most of you are doing a great job of promoting on social media, hey, interest rates are low, interest rates are low. But guess what? Everybody's doing that now. So Sean and I have decided there's a different message that you can put out there right now that might get you more business, okay? So Sean, if you want to go ahead and start filling them in on that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slide, okay?
Sure. Thank you for that, guy, Felipe. And thank you for Patty, by the way. Guys, Felipe's not joking around, man. She knows her stuff, so definitely reach out to her if you have questions on title. That being said, yeah, everybody's been talking about interest rates being low and all of that stuff. Well, that's great, but what does it actually do as far as buying power for your clients? These are the calculations that I've done just to kind of give you guys an idea. Well, what's the difference? What's the percentage? This slide that Felipe is putting up here is can afford 10% more. That's the big thing right there. That's the magic number, 10% more home than they could 1 year ago. Well, that's great. And that's actually accurate. But what about qualifying? Because that 10% may be a fact, but you still have your clients that have a certain amount of income. Their debt to income ratios are going to be, a certain percentage. And we need to know what that is as a lender. And you guys need to know that as well. So what I did was, and Felipe, I just sent an email with these numbers as an attachment. It's a Word document. So if you want to blast that out to everybody today at some point, that would be great. That way you guys can, if you're visual learners like I am, this will make a lot more sense once you see this form. So what I did, guys, is I did a real quick calculation for a $500,000 loan amount with a PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance for anybody that doesn't know that, at 4.5%, and then also at 3.5%. And then what I did is I used that with a fake client earning either $90,000, $80,000, or $70,000 per year. Okay. Now, typically, I don't know if you guys do this when you're talking, you're doing your initial call or anything like that. But from a lender's perspective, I have 4 boxes. I want to know what their income is. I want to know what their assets are, approximately what their credit score is. And then that 4th box is just kind of gray because that's the actual property that they're going to purchase. So one of the main things that you guys as agents want to kind of pay attention to is, am I wasting my time with this person? Does this person make $25,000 a year and they're looking at $500,000 houses? They've got student loans and a car payment. That is a potential client later on. That isn't something that you're going to turn and burn today. So knowing that, you can put them in a different category. So let's get back to this. So $90,000 a year is $75,000 a month. At 4.5%, with a PITI payment of $31.53, so that includes repayment on the loan, the taxes, and the insurance only. Their debt to income ratio is 42%. Now, at 3.5%, and let's see if we can do a show of hands or somebody throw something into chat. What do you guys think the difference in the debt to income ratio is going to be? 42% at 4.5. If we drop it 1% down to 3.5, what kind of a decrease are we looking at?
So their debt to income, if we drop it 1% on the interest rate?
Mm-hmm. Yep, on the interest rate.
Ooh. So Patty said 40.
Okay, Patty was close. It's actually more than that. It drops their debt to income ratio a total of 4%. It comes out at 38%.
Wow.
Yep, at 38%. So when you've got somebody that's earning $90,000 a year, well, if they're looking at a $500,000 property and they don't have any debt, that's fantastic. That's a great ratio. What if they make $80,000? At 4.5% in your interest rate, their debt to income ratio would be 47%. So it actually is 5% difference from that $90,000.
That's huge.
But if we drop it down to 3.5%, now they're at 43. So you see that trend that's happening? We're looking at about a 4% difference in their debt to income ratios over 1% interest rate drop. Okay. Now, where this really, really, really makes sense, guys, is when you get into those borrowers that are looking at $70,000 a year. At $70,000 a year at 4.5%, and mind you, $500,000 loan amount, you're looking at a 54% debt to income ratio. Now, with good credit, I'll be honest with you, with good credit and some assets and things like that, it makes it a strong buyer. That might go through, okay? But if we get that 3.5% interest rate, well, now they're at 49. They're under 50%.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's huge. So also with these calculations, and I won't go through every single one of them just for time, but I want you guys to take a look at it. What I did was I added in a car payment of $400. Now you can use that as, a car payment, or you can use that as credit card payments. You can use that as, whatever, student loan repayment, whatever it is. But you're going to see this difference between about 3 to 5% difference in their debt to income ratio. What that means to you guys is the difference between qualifying for a loan and not qualifying. In addition to that, I took it a little bit further and I dropped it down to 400,000 as well on the loan amount. Now, when you guys are looking at this after he sends it out, look at those PITI payments and the difference. The difference on a $400,000 loan amount in that 1% interest rate difference, you're looking at about $130 a month. Okay, so maybe that's an HOA due. Maybe it's a condo, and their HOA dues. Now they can afford that house, okay? Down at the bottom, I put one of my little pet peeves, and this is something that I talk to a lot of my clients about. Please remember, when we're doing these calculations, utilities, cell phones, food, clothing, gym memberships, kids, those little money suckers that are out there, that's stuff that you're not adding into your debt to income ratios. But the biggest one is we use gross income to qualify. Well, you don't get gross income on your paychecks. You get net. Okay, so that's 20 to 25% difference. So all these calculations, do yourself a favor, do your clients a favor, add 20% or 25%, depending on their tax rate. Add those to their debt to income ratios and watch their face, okay? Because it's really interesting when that happens. Now, that being said, don't talk yourself out of a transaction. Don't talk yourself out of a deal. Don't do that. Let me, kind of smooth that over with them. And I will talk to them, every single one of your clients, about that. Not to scare them, but to prepare them for what they're about to get into.
Sean, that was great, man. Awesome information.
Sure.
I think the message, like I said before, is don't focus so much on promoting the interest rates are low, because we all know that by now. Focus on you have more purchasing power now today because of the low interest rates. So what I'm suggesting is just change the message a little bit and see some massive results. See a big difference in how you get responses. Just a side note, don't ignore or forget direct messaging on Facebook and Instagram. Go back to those little techniques, you guys. If you're brand new, perfect timing. If you're experienced, perfect timing. Who cares? Instead of just sending a message to everybody, rates are low, the market is hot, with a little fire emoji, right? Instead of doing that, hey, buyers have so much more purchasing power in today's market with these absurd low interest rates. Call me if you have any questions. You will see results. Hopefully everybody's awake and listening to that. Good thing I'm recording this, because I'm dropping dimes here. I'm dropping you guys nuggets, all right? Sean just gave a wealth of information. Amber, I went ahead and forwarded that to you, so you can please blast that out to everybody. We are running out of time, so I don't want to cover all of these slides. I just want to share a couple that I want to hear from you guys. Everybody knows this. Inventory was down an average of 38%, okay? I don't have to keep repeating this stuff, but you guys should all know by now that we are in a very, very low critical stage as far as inventory is concerned, okay? Not enough houses for sale. So guess what? If you just got your license, what should your focus be? Know how to list houses right away, right? And go after them. Go after those listings. When you have the listing, you control the market. When you have the buyers, good for you. That's great. That's income that you are generating. However, it's going to consume your time, okay? And I guarantee you cannot help 3 to 4 buyers in today's market at one time, but you could definitely list 3 to 4 houses, okay? Because each one of those buyers is gonna have to go to multiple properties, make multiple offers, and it's gonna be very competitive. So if you're new, hopefully that helps you guys out. Projections on future home prices. I'm not going to dive into this too much right now. The good news is I think that home prices are very stable and steady right now. We are not expecting a huge crash, or I know just a couple months back, people were saying, I guarantee you we're going to see a huge jump in foreclosures, okay? So what I wanted to share with you guys is one little slide. This slide, I've actually followed this slide for about 10 years now. It's crazy to think that I've been following this slide for 10 years. So I know it's accurate. But honestly, today's distressed property sales market is 1% of our market. 1%. So if you've ever played darts and you have to hit that little circle in the middle, right? I'd rather hit the big circle because I mean, 1%, that's very difficult to do. So 1% is a very small percentage of our market. So if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Get your designations, understand the process. I think we should all be educated on how to deal with REOs and short sales, but distressed property sales are a very small portion of the market because the lending guidelines haven't changed. We're still very, Sean is very detailed when it comes to, lenders are detailed and they want to see good financials when it comes to purchasing. So we are not going backwards. We're actually going forward in the real estate world. Okay. So purchasing power is huge. Housing inventory is low. Buyer demand is high. I don't think I need to bore you guys with the rest of these slides today because we are out of time. But I did want to open it up because I did see a quick social media post from from Linda Rubio, maybe Linda Karen, I'm not sure, but Linda Rubio has a new listing coming up in Wildemar. I don't know if she's on this call, but who has properties that they want to promote, buyers, needs, wants, gripes, yipes? Aaron, we're gonna make you sing a song since you're the newest. No, I'm just kidding.
Linda Rubio lost internet connection, so she can't, but yes, it is coming soon.
Beautiful house in Wildemar, it looks like it. So make sure that you are joined up, if you're not, Aaron, onto our social media page. It's a private page, look for it, but there's coming soon properties are on there. So if you have friends, family, buyers that are looking, this is the best way to get them in is by looking at stuff that's not even on the market yet, okay? Quick side note, if you guys have not been searching for the coming soon status, make sure you add that when you're looking for properties for your clients. You need to know what is coming soon now that we have that status so that you can be looking for those properties right away. I do see some chats. Let me try to go back here. Permanent brace is good. John, Vico.
Let me jump in real quick. Properties, we're talking about $499, 3,000 square feet, 4-bedroom, master downstairs with an office, ready to rock and roll. My client is actually in escrow, wants to close this one up early part of October. $499, 3,000 square foot, right over there in the Greens community off of Winchester and Hunter.
Okay.
So bring me an offer, guys. Ready to rock and roll. We've been listed now. We went live on Saturday evening, and my guy's really going to take pretty much the first offer that comes in the door that's got decent terms. Like, he's ready to go. We're not trying to push this thing any higher. So bring me something. Let's get this one in escrow today.
Awesome. Sounds good. David Gordon, you got like 6 escrows closing this week. Any listings? You're first on my screen. Any listings? Yes, no? Philip, you're about 2 days licensed, so you better get me an escrow in the next week. Magda, any listings? John, Vico, Aaron, you got licensed yesterday. What's the deal? Where's all your listings?
Okay, I do have 2 listings. I've got one
there
in
we go.
Hemet. Got one in Hemet, a manufactured home for $40,000, no permanent foundation. I do have another one in Sun City. It's a 55 plus. It's 320. It's 320 straight up. It's a beautiful home. So we've had one offer so far, but it was at 300, so we rejected it. So we're waiting for another one.
Good. Hopefully it's going to be a Century 20 preferred agent. Come on, guys, bring the buyers. Going around the room, I know that Patrick Hunter. Patrick, what's up, man?
Hey, don't forget that I have my listing out in Aguanga with a 4%. That means that 500,000 will pay you the same as $1 million property.
That's 20.
So that's a pretty good commission there. And also I wanted to say too, like on the newbies, if they want to go on a listing presentation, don't be afraid. One of us will go with you and we can split it or do something and work something out. So we'll get those listings. We need them.
Thank you so much, Patrick. That's great. Thank you so much. Julia, how many listings you got? Come on, Brian, Alan, Jay. Oh, wait, I see some on the notes. Okay, Jamie DePaul has a great little southern Temecula property, 385. It's going to be about 1,172 square feet. It's a condo on a 0 lot line, gated community in South Temecula. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. Sounds like a first-time home buyer, a first condo to me.
Felipe, is a FHA approval?
Jamie DePaul, is it approved for FHA? The answer is yes. Bring
Yes,
your
I have a buyer.
All right, bring it. Send it. Let's go. 385. Okay, Richard
Oh.
Hainline has one going live on Friday.
Is that a single story condo?
Wait, who was that?
Is that a single story condo?
Jamie, is it single story? 2-story.
Oh, it is 2-story. Is there a bedroom downstairs?
Bedroom downstairs? No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, cool. So then Richard Hainline, one going live on Friday. 6-bedroom, 3 full bathrooms in Murrieta, Central Murrieta. It's actually on coming soon status. Look it up, Richard Hainline. It's right here in Central Murrieta. What's the price on that, Rich?
$529.
$529. Great price points. Is that going to appraise? I should have asked Wendy.
Absolutely. I have a comp at $580.
Holy cow. Awesome. Okay, so $529. Keep in mind, you guys, we tried doing this. We're trying to share the information. Jennifer had that single story in Murrieta. It was a tiny house. It was like 1,200 square feet with a pool for 405, and she ended up with like 37 offers. So that's how strong the demand is right now. So I'm not going crazy. There's a lot of buyer demand out there.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Linda. What's going on?
Hi. Well, I just want to share a little bit of information about my new listing coming up in Wildemar.
Please.
As I mentioned, or somebody mentioned, it's a single story with a pool, jacuzzi. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with an office, 2,553 square feet on a 9,000 plus square foot lot. Nice property, borderline Wildemar, Murrieta. So if anybody has a buyer looking for,
I have a buyer.
you have a buyer?
Yeah, her name's Carrie Ann. Rhymes with Carrie Ann. Rhymes with Carrie Ann.
There you go, Carrie Ann. Come on, Carrie Ann.
What's the price?
$495.
Wow, excellent. With the pool. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann, I'll call you later. We'll sign the exclusive agreement. Who
Yes.
else has a listing they want to pitch? Jamie DePaul. The address is, for Jamie's, it's 31624 Briarwood. She put it in the chat box. Take a look at that. It's in Temecula. It's already on the MLS. I see people I haven't seen in a while. I see Kimberly Reese. I see Rhonda Bilton. I know Chris Holden's here. So, sold as gold. Where are you guys at? So I know there's a couple more listings.
We're here.
There you are. What do you guys got coming up for us?
Well, we need something.
Okay, what do we need? Let's start with that.
We need like, it could be a manufactured home on maybe an acre or 2. It could be a Wonga or a little bit further out, but they want to put chickens and have a little farm.
Okay. How much?
So cheap, like under 300. So it can be in the boondocks.
All right. Yeah, I was looking at Patrick and then I saw him go, oh crap. Okay. We could have made this work.
Like all in when I'm like, oh, this is it. But
500. So David Gordon has a couple manufactureds, maybe, or they're in parks. But anyways, she's looking for buyers, 300, 350-ish, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything.
Something comes up, we need
What
that.
about listings? Do you guys have any listings?
Saratoga,
is that one still?
Well, yeah, Saratoga, we might be getting an offer today, and the other one's been looked at all the time. We just haven't gotten an offer, the pool home. They're both pool homes. One's a huge lot, and the other one's a smaller lot, but it's more turnkey. But if you have someone that needs, it has 2 driveways and RV parking, so you could actually park probably 6 to 8 cars in the driveways, not counting the RV parking on the side of the house, and a double electronic gate on one side.
Nice.
And then it also has a separate little office casita. It does have a little kitchenette with a kitchen garbage disposal, and then it goes into the bedroom. So you could make a bedroom living room, almost like a next gen home with that, with a separate entrance.
Very nice. All right. Thank you, ladies.
For $629, but he's motivated. I think he'd sell it for $599.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody else now, Claudia J, you were there earlier. I know, did you get your listing sold in San Diego?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't. I had shows and the feedback is like it's too small, you know, let's see. It's still on the market. I'm gonna get a price reduction if
Okay.
we don't sell until next week. So
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let us know. Send the details. We'll put it on an email. You guys, we went over on time and I didn't even go over my presentation. So I hope everybody has a great, amazing rest of the week. Just a quick side note, if you don't know what Tom Ferry is, I went ahead and got the Tom Ferry Summit. So we're going to talk about rolling that out next week to all our agents so you can watch the entire broadcast. It was recorded and it was virtual. So these things, it's one of those coaching events for those of you that are new to the business. People pay a couple $100 to go attend. This year was virtual, so we're going to go ahead and allow it to all of our agents to watch. You can watch as much of it as you want or as little of it as you want. It's going to be offered to everybody here. Okay. Last thing I wanted to say is I am paying and providing for a videographer twice a month. If you are scared of doing videos, congratulations, kudos to Magda. She stepped out of her shell. She did one. Maria Speed did one. I did one. Chris Holden did one. You guys, take advantage. I'm paying for it. Get your booties down here. Sign up when the date comes available. Go do a video. He's doing a whole edited video for you guys to send any message you want. Hint, hint, the message could be, if you didn't know, now's the best time for you to have more purchasing power because of the low interest rates. So we'll give you the script of what you can say, and I'll mix it up for everybody. So don't be shy, okay? I want to see a lot more people next time, because it's either that or I'll just start charging you guys, and then maybe you'll show up, right? You'll say like, oh, okay, if I have to pay for it, I'll be there. So, all right, you guys, let's have a great rest of the week. Miss everybody. Live from Temecula. Bye, you guys. Bye. Patty. Bye.
Bye, bye, guys. Good to see you all. Bye.
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 Brian, I see you. Erin, we're going to get together soon. Where did she go? She already hung up. All right. Bye, you guys.